Hello, class. It's Professor Watzak again. Welcome to week 6, part 2. Sorry, in my last video, I got cut off, didn't get to finish everything. I want to make sure you really understood what we were doing this week. So the videos that you can also react to in your sex and gender free write, we've got Boys Won't Be Boys, Boys Will Be What We Teach Them to Be. And that's a really interesting TED Talk, actually, by Ben Hurst. Um, I believe he's British, and he talks about how there are so many things in our society set up to expect men and boys to act a certain way. And the Mask You Live In documentary trailer and the Mask You Live In documentary clip also continue with this theme. So this is a whole documentary that's been made called The Mask You Live In. We're not watching the whole documentary, we're just watching a trailer of it and then a short clip. So we'll get a little taste of that documentary, and it dovetails quite well with the Boys Won't Be Boys, Boys Will Be What We Teach Them to Be video. That is the TED Talk. And so it investigates how society, or at least our society or Western civilization, in actually modern times as well as older times, have crafted a certain set of traits for boys and men to exhibit. And these traits are sometimes putting men and even the people they associate with, women, girls, etc., in jeopardy because of the negative side to some of these traits. Of course, there are positive sides, but there are also many negatives. And so he talks about how we can or overcome as a society these negative aspects and basically free men and enable them to be who they are at heart, which probably should be the gamut of what they can be. And women have been having these stereotypes gradually removed from them too, to the point where things have almost reversed for women in society, where they are going out and getting jobs where previously they've had limited opportunities to do so. And in many cases, they're getting paid, and then, I mean, they are getting paid, but previously they were not being paid the same amount as men for doing the same job. And so now that balance has really shifted quite a bit. And so the conversation has now turned to men, like how can we remove these stereotypes for men and boys so that they too can embrace who they really are on the, and not feel as if they are being um, unfairly pinioned into a little mold that is not necessarily reflective of who they really are. And in some cases may even be dangerous because it can lead to dangerous behaviors where you are maybe setting aggression and violence on a pedestal for men because it is kind of like that ultimate culmination of that testosteronic type um, male attribute that's been associated with men and boys. I mean, that would be the negative aspect of it, but strength would be the positive side of it. Okay, so these are some interesting videos to watch and to react to in your sex and gender free write. Um, Now let's go back to our folder to see what else we have here. So as we mentioned, we got the schedule, we've got the week 6 readings folder, and then we have the week 6 videos folder. Now we also have a discussion forum. Okay, the week 6 annotations and Hurst TED Talk reaction discussion forum. So here in this form, you're going to have to make 2 annotations on the week 6 readings, and you can make them on any of these articles. You have to have 2 annotations, but you can take the annotation from all of these readings, and they need to be from a different one. So like one annotation has to be from one of the readings, and another annotation has to be another one of the readings. They can't be from the same reading. So hopefully that makes sense. You could, for example, take one from The Complexity of Gender, Who Am I? And then you could take another one from maybe A Life in Two Genders. Or you could take one from Why We Need to Reimagine Masculinity, and another one from, um, say, Field Guide to the Tomboys, High Heels and Pink, no way. Or we could take one from My Son Wears Dresses, Get Over It, and Field Guide to the Tomboys, High Heels and Pink. No way. Now, as you recall from our previous week's work where we shared annotations, well, we actually have been doing them every week, but previously in a discussion forum, we actually shared them, and that was, I believe, the week 2 discussion forum. So what an annotation is, if you recall, it's just taking notes on your article. We even had that exercise where you did take notes and you shared them with me and with the class. Now here you will share them again. So you'll mark a quote in the reading, and then you will tell us that quote, and then you'll tell why you noted it. For example, it seemed important to you, or it seemed confusing and you had a question about it. And you can ask that question and maybe people can answer it on the discussion forum, or you connect with it. You can say what kind of idea that brings to mind for you, or a personal experience that you had, maybe that supports the quotation that you're citing there in your annotation. All right, so 2 annotations. And then, so that's why it's numbered 1, 2, because you need 2. And then for part number 3 of this discussion forum, share a moment from the Ben Hurst TED Talk. Boys won't be boys, they will be what we teach them to be. And the part that you want to share, of course, is something that you think is especially important, and tell why it's important and how it relates to the rest of our conversation about sex, gender, and identity. All right, and then, as always, make sure you reply to 2 other students, all right? So that is how you'll earn points for the discussion forum. Basically, it's 20 points per part. So in other words, 20 points for one annotation, 20 points for another annotation, 20 points for the moment from the TED Talk that you share, and 20 points for one reply to one student, and 20 points for another reply to another student. All right, that is a discussion forum this week. And of course, we always have our live virtual class. So, want to attend that or submit the alternate assignment, which is the 3-paragraph summary to the Dropbox. And then here is the sex and gender free write Dropbox. This is where you will attach your sex and gender free write. It'll be a file with a spelled out file name in the assignment. The assignment you can get on by just clicking right here. This is the sex and gender free write assignment. Or you can also, it's also located in the week 6 readings. So it's 2 different places where you can find that, but it's the same assignment, either location. And as I said, you're just going to write, okay? You don't need to worry about grammar, spelling. You don't need to worry about structure, like, oh, I got to have a body paragraph, an intro, a conclusion. Nope. A free write is you just write off the top of your head based on these readings and videos that you've been doing last week and this week. And you'll write your reactions. You can write main points. You can put quotations in there and explain the quotations, and then talk about how they relate to our overall discussion of sex, gender, and identity, or how they relate to each other. That's kind of interesting. You might want to make a comparison between one article and another. So you can go anywhere you want with this. It's a free write. You just write freely. It's kind of like you got the words in your head and you write those words as they occur to you on the paper, as if you were talking to me or a friend or a family member or anyone else. You just write what pops into your head, and you write for 2 pages. That's important too. You want to write for at least 2 pages, okay? Because you want to get lots of ideas out there. The more ideas, the better, actually, because one idea will lead to another, to another, to another, and we want a density of ideas so that you will be well prepared for Essay 2 when you write it. You'll start writing that next week, and this week you have that free write to help prepare you for it and help get all those ideas percolating in your mind and connecting and branching off into other ideas, and then formulating into a thesis question, which you will write yourself. This time I'm not giving you one. You will come up with your own thesis question for the essay number 2. Again, we're not writing essay number 2 until next week. This week is a sex and gender free write to prepare you for that. But you will be formulating your own thesis question and then answering it in your essay 2. So remember how essay 1 had an essay question or an essay prompt given to you, and that was, who is lucky in our society, who gets to be lucky in our society, and what can we do to make more people more lucky? So those were 2 questions in that essay prompt, and essay 1 answered those 2 questions. That was your task. So this time for essay 2, which we'll do next week, you're coming up with your own essay question, and then you will answer it in essay 2. But these sex and gender free rights and the summary from last week and the discussion forums, they're all to help get those ideas going in your head, get you brainstorming, get you thinking hard, making connections, and pushing your ideas to a place where you're analyzing these things and you're really discussing them with each other and discussing them in our live class sessions, and just getting to a place where you have something to write about, where you can come up with like a thesis statement and maybe 3 points that support that thesis statement that you will then develop in body paragraphs. But again, that's for essay 2, which is next week. This week, you've got the discussion forum on the videos and the readings, and then you've got the sex and gender free write on the videos and the readings, which occur in this week and last week. You can write about both for that sex and gender free write. All right. So I hope that gives you a great start to all of this and a good overview. And I hope you feel, as if you're ready to go. Happy reading, happy watching, happy discussing, happy writing. All right. As always, you can always email me or bring questions to our live virtual sessions. So, okay, until next time, good luck and bye.